Hi, welcome for our interview questions. So in the interviews, they'll be asking for what is employment model in global HR module? What is employment model? And what are different types of employment models we have in Fusion HCM? And how do we configure and where exactly we'll do this configuration, employment models in Fusion applications? Which employment model you have implemented in your organization? And what is the reason behind that? Why you have selected that? Okay. First, we'll see what is employment model. Employment model is nothing but a group of three components. What are the three components? Work relationship, assignment, and employment terms. Any organization, whenever they try to hire any worker, they'll identify which assignment they wanted to do that and the relationship. And if required, employment terms, nothing but a contracts or any agreements are there that will be specified. So the basic definition, what we have to explain here is employment model is nothing but a group of three components which contains work relationship, assignment, and employment terms. Work relationship is basically the relationship between the worker and legal employer. It will be in three formats, either employee or contingent worker or non-worker. Then assignment is nothing but a set of information. When we are going to hire an employee, we'll be mentioning the job position. This all information comes as a employment information, means assignment information. And also we will find the other one is employment terms. Let me show you how we can identify which employment model we are using. Let's see. Let's log out from here. I'm just hiring one employee. Let's go to Navigator, My Client Groups, and New Person. Go for Hire Employee. The first thing, whatever we are defining here, we call it as work relationship. The moment, whenever we start hiring here, we are mentioning that we are hiring this worker for so-and-so legal employer, and this is going to be the work relationship between the worker and legal employer we are going to have. Let's go for, this is just person information, and home address and other information, phone details, email details, legislative information we are going to enter here and click the next button here. Now go for click next button. We can find the employment information. So here we can find this work relationship, whatever we have, legal employer this, and worker type is employee. That's the relation. This will be three types. What are the three? Employee, contingent worker, non-worker. Okay. And go down here, we can see that here directly we have assignment information. You don't have employment terms. It means this is two-tier employment model. So how many types of employment models we have? There are two types of employment models. One is two-tier employment model. Another one is three-tier employment model. In two-tier employment model, there will be only two components. What are that? Work relationship and assignment. I'll show you that now. This is a two-tier employment model. I can see only work relationship here, the relationship between the legal employer and your worker, and then I can see the assignment. I don't have any employment terms option over here. So this is a two-tier employment model. How to find where it has been configured? This first we have to check at legal entity level. This employment model will be configured at legal entity level. Where do we configure employment model in Fusion applications? We are going to configure this at legal entity level first. Let me take. Now we have to enter into FSM, functional setup manager. Go to setup and maintenance here. Once we enter into the FSM, either we can go to implementation project or we can search from here all our global tasks. So directly we can search here. Go to manage legal entity. And choose your legal entity, whatever the legal entity you would like to verify. Go for the scope option and the system is going to populate the menu here. And choose this, select and add, search for the legal entity, whatever we have defined. Let's go for it. Now, this is the legal entity. It's already enabled legal employer and PSU. That's fine. Let's go to manage legal entity HCM information task. Here we can find our legal entity and we can find the tab called legal employer. In this tab, now I can see that here, employment model. It is two-tier employment model. In the two-tier, again, we have multiple assignment option. It means you can have multiple assignments for the same employee. We can have multiple assignments for the same employee. For example, I would like to have three-tier employment model. So let's say for this legal employer, we have already employees, right? So let me show you another option. This is the first option. For example, if we don't mention the employment model at legal entity level, system will consider enterprise level. So employment model will be configured at two levels. One is at legal entity level, another one is at enterprise level. If the legal entity option is not there, then system will consider enterprise level. Which one is higher priority? Legal entity level. Always the lowest one is a high priority. Okay, now I can see that here, employment model, two-tier single assignment. Two-tier single assignment. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, now we would like to see the three-tier employment model. Let me create one legal entity here. US New York legal entity. I'm going to make it as legal employer and PSU. And let me choose some built-in legal address here. Close the legal entity here. Now go to manage legal entity HCM information. Select the legal entity, whatever we have created. Make sure that your legal entity is associated with your PSU. Now here I'm going to mention it's a three-tier employment model. Here, select this employment model. Now we can see that two-tier, we have 4 different categories, and three-tier, we have 4 different categories. Two-tier single assignment, two-tier multiple assignment, two-tier single contract and single assignment, two-tier multiple contract and single assignment. We have already discussed about all these options in detail in our training sessions, right? So in the interviews, when they ask us what are the 2 different employment models, we have two-tier and three-tier. Again, they will ask us specifically what are different categories we have in two-tier. In two-tier, we have single assignment, multiple assignment, single assignment with multiple contract, single assignment with single contract, like this will find, and three-tier different options we have. We can see that employment terms. So whatever we have seen previous employee hiring in our legal employer, that was two-tier. Now I'm going to select multiple employment terms and multiple assignments. And let me associate this PSU with the legislative data group. Otherwise, we can't hire employee. Let's go for submit. Now what I'm going to do is I'm trying to hire an employee for this legal employer. We can see that the employment terms will be populated. Select our legal employer here. Only at the assignment level, we'll come to know which employment model is configured for our system. Here, the moment when we enter into the employment information, click next button. And go down here, see, we were able to see 2 tabs, employment terms and assignment. Earlier, whenever we try to hire an employee for US1 legal entity, it was showing only 1 tab because it was 2-tier employment model. Now this is 3-tier employment model. That's the reason it is showing us the employment terms, and it is asking the employment term number and for which business unit, term status, this all details, and then assignment information. So now here itself, I can find 3 components regarding the employment model. One is work relationship, nothing but the relationship between the legal employer and worker is nothing but a work relationship. And employment terms, is it a full-time employee or contract for 6 months or full-time for 2 years? Like that, there will be employment terms. And assignment information, nothing but job, position, grade, these all options we are going to find it. Okay, so this is the basic option in the interviews. They will be asking us, okay, where do we configure employment model in the applications? 2 levels, at legal entity level, another one is enterprise level. What is high priority? Legal entity level. If we don't mention any option at legal entity level, then system will consider at what level? Enterprise level. For example, we given in both the levels, we given legal entity level and we given enterprise level also. Then what is the option for the system? It takes from legal entity because that's a high priority. The lowest one, whatever is there, that's the high priority. Okay. And where do which employment model you implemented for your client in your organization? Which employment model has selected and what is the reason? Generally, when we are working in the projects, this decision will be taken by very senior level functional consultants, but still it's not an issue. We can say that we have configured an employment model, and most of the clients will go ahead with a 2-tier employment model with multiple assignments. 2-tier employment model with multiple assignments. So that's what we can say it in our Fusion applications regarding the employment models. Okay, thank you.